Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today I have my co-host, Kelly. Are you there, Kelly?
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi. And I also have my other co-host, Barbara. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Now, Barbara, why don't you introduce our guest today? Because and see if we can get to know this person.
Okay, I would be very happy to do that. Today, our special guest is Ron Montez. And Ron is one of the most respected personalities in the dance business. He was the 7-time undefeated United States professional Latin champion and a world champion finalist. He's now a world-class adjudicator, dance coach, and choreographer. Ron was the co-host and expert commentator for the PBS television show Champion Ballroom Dancing, which I'm sure you have all seen with Juliet Krause, Barbara Eden, and Sandy Duncan. Now, he also was a former host of America's Ballroom Challenge. He has choreographed for So You Think You Can Dance and numerous other dance events. Ron was the recipient of the 2009 United States Dance Championships Hall of Fame Award. Wow! Welcome to the show, Ron.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I'm really happy to be talking to you guys.
Oh, we're so happy you came on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? After I read your introduction, or like I said your introduction, okay, that's a lot of stuff. You chuckled. Why did you chuckle? Is it kind of funny to hear, how people like look at your whole body of work that you've done and then kind of put it into a nutshell?
Well, I kind of like the way that you said it. You use special little accents and you stress certain little parts with your voice, and I just kind of like listening to the way you said it. I already know I already know, pretty much what you are going to say, because that's what, my life I've done. But it's always nice to hear how people state it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
well done.
You are welcome. Thank you. Well, you know what? I want to start off with kind of a fun question. Maybe you don't even get asked this very often, but I want to know, do you remember your first dance lesson ever?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. It was, I had some informal dance lessons with my sister. She was a dance teacher, so she taught me my first moves, yes. And then,
how old were you?
Yeah. Oh, I was in high school, probably a sophomore in high school, something like that. Pretty young. I didn't know anything about ballroom dancing, but I considered myself a pretty good freestyle dancer. You just on your own kind of thing, moving to pop music.
Oh yeah, like high school dances.
I thought I was. Let's put it this way. I thought I was pretty good. And so yeah, she introduced me to ballroom dancing. Yes.
Oh, how lucky for you that you had that, because you know what? You probably were good. You probably were good at your freestyle. I bet you were one of those ones in junior high that you started dancing and everybody kind of just circled around you and just like, wow. And they did that to me in junior high.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
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 Well,
and you know what?
I've always
so young,
loved music, so
Yeah.
If you
are
love
a musician
music,
too.
Yeah. Well, if you love music, in my case, I liked expressing myself to music. So not just listening, but also moving to music. So, but I like both. I like listening and moving. So they're both good.
Isn't it that kind of thing where you would hear a song and you just imagined yourself dancing to it? Did you do that?
Yeah, I do that sometimes to choreograph. I'll imagine what would feel good or what would look good, to a particular song or melody. Yeah, sure, I do that.
It really gets your motor running, doesn't it?
It does. Music is so inspirational in so many ways. It can move you emotionally. It can move you intellectually. It can move you to move your body. It can inspire you. I mean, it's so motivating in so many ways. I'm so thankful for music and, that it's there for us to enjoy.
You know what we should stress? We should stress upon people here at the show, too. This is what I do. It's quiet in the place, wherever I'm working, okay? And I'm feeling kind of low or down. If I turn on some music, I immediately am in a different state of mind, a better mood.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah.
It can get you excited. It can make you feel active. It can calm you down. You can meditate to certain types of music. So there's so many different kinds. Music runs the whole spectrum of emotion.
It's so very important, especially here on the spiritually based show, that we talk more about that.
Exactly.
See, I really do think I didn't tell in the introduction how we met, but when I started ballroom dancing later in life, I did Pro-Am, and you were one of my first judges, and I do remember it clearly because the whole buzz was like, oh, Ron Montez, he's on the panel. Ron Montez. I'm like, who's Ron Montez? Ooh, and it was like, I remember that. And this was in the year, this could have been 1999, for sure the year 2000. But at the end of 1999, I started. And so do you know that that's what people think about when you are on the judging panel around the ballroom, getting ready to judge, that is probably what's going on in people's minds, especially the new people?
Maybe so. I'm sure that some people are aware of me and my career in ballroom dancing. Some even remember my dancing, and of course nowadays there's YouTube and all that kind of stuff. They can explore and do research. Yeah, so people are very nice. Some people don't know me; they're new in the business, or they haven't. So yeah. So there's all types, and it takes all types. New, seasoned competitors, professionals, amateurs, the whole gamut. So,
there's
I'm
everything.
happy to be there I'm happy to be there in this business because it's so positive. It is not a negative business for the most part. 99%, maybe even a higher percentage, close to 100% of the time, it's positive in nature. It's the vibes are energetic and they're fulfilling, and it's not a downer in any way, shape, or form.
No, I like that you pointed that out. That's extremely important because one of my questions to you was, now how it is now, which it evolves. Would you recommend this highly for a youngster to have a life in the competitive world of dance?
Yes, I think dancing is good for all ages. We know that it's good for senior citizens. It gets them active and on the floor. And we also know that it's good for young people because they learn to interact with one another. Young boys and girls get to relate to each other in a healthy way, and they make contact when they take dance position. They touch one another, but they do that with the additional with music as their guide. So it's very healthy. It's
and a lot of respect.
Yeah, I think it instills traditional kind of manners that sometimes we don't have anymore. The young man is supposed to escort the lady, supposed to ask her to dance, and she, if she likes to, she complies. And he is the leader, but but she enjoys her role as a follower. They work together. It's a great interaction.
It really is. But I want to get back to your childhood. Okay, I was kind of expecting you to say that you started younger than junior high or you said high school actually, so that would be like 14, 15 years old. That's not that young.
Yeah. No, it's not. Well, see, when I grew up in a small town, and there was no dancing for for boys. There was a local performing arts studio that was all girls. No boys went there. Boys just
yes,
did sports.
Ron,
You know.
I don't want to interrupt you, but this is my really, I'm really wondering about this because, okay, a lot of boys who dance, I would think that they would maybe think, oh, that's not what my boy's going to do, and they want to be like all masculine and, rough and tough. But because I watched that movie, I love this one movie, Billy Elliot, the dancer, who's like a lot of the. Yeah, don't you love that movie, Ron?
I've watched it some time ago. In fact, I was reminded of it just a few days ago by somebody. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember it.
That's so inspirational. He was a young boy, and he's just like 11-year-old boy, and he had such this driving, intense passion to just dance. And he had to, no matter what, all the time, every waking moment he was thinking about it. And I was just wondering if that's how you were, or if there was any other, like, people thinking, oh, that's, sissy-ish to dance, or what? Or did you just not experience that at all?
Well, when I was in high school, I was a runner, and I love sports of all kinds. And but when I was introduced to dancing, it was opened a whole new world because it brought male and female together into an activity, and it brought music in. So those two things were very. I mean, for a young man, dancing. Oh, you get to do that with girls? Wow, that's cool.
I know.
So
a lot of people did it just to meet girls. They started dancing just to meet the ladies, and they're mostly usually attractive, aren't they?
Yes, and a boy who dances is always popular with girls.
Oh.
Always.
So, and that's what happened to you?
Well, yeah, because I love dancing, so I wasn't afraid to dance with girls, and girls were always willing. I mean, there were some real shy girls who didn't want to participate, but most girls were like, "Wow, yeah, sure."
That's wonderful. Okay, so then years went by, and how long did it take for you to realize I want to take this seriously and start competing?
Yeah. Well, I trained to become a teacher, then became a teacher and started teaching at a basic level, and then a couple visits at our school, and they were returning from the World Championships, where I think they placed maybe third or fourth or something like that. But they were Australians. They were returning back to Australia, and they stopped in Arizona, of all places, to do some work, some choreography and some training for us. And that's how I discovered, through this couple, the world of high-level competitive dancing. I saw them dance, and I thought, hey, I want to do that.
Wow. How old were you at that time?
Well, I was already maybe in my 20s at that point, because I graduated from high school, and I was already working as a dance teacher. So, yeah.
Wow. Oh, I love it when there's many American dance champions out there, multi-times undefeated. I know of them, but a lot of them are Europeans. But so you were against like people who may have started at 5 years old, and here you're rising to the top. How long did it take you to get to the top and win?
Barbara, you're so funny. I love hearing you talk. I worked at it. It was a kind of a slow, steady progress. I had a partner. I danced with her in local studio events, not competition. And then I got a partner. I went to college and found a partner there. Competed with her, and that was just a short time thing. And then my first partner was Carol, and with Carol I danced both two styles, ballroom and Latin, and got very, very serious at that point. And it's so serious that I moved from Arizona to California because that's where the training was. So I moved.
Okay. Wow. And then once you did win the United States Professional Latin Championship, did you also win the standard ballroom or just the Latin? You excelled in the Latin more.
with Carol, my first serious partner, we did both styles, ballroom and Latin. But then that partner lasted 7 years, and we did very well. But then we split up. So my next partner, Elizabeth Curtis, only did Latin. She came from a performing arts background, so she knew ballet, modern dance, jazz, and tap. But she didn't do ballroom. She wanted to do Latin. So with her, I just specialized in the Latin and did not do the ballroom competitively anymore.
Well, isn't that kind of hard when you have to drop something that you really love, a style that you just love, or was it not? It was.
Yes, it was hard because I love the ballroom style. I love the music. I mean, there's nothing better than putting on what we call a slow foxtrot, like a Frank Sinatra type song, and just moving. It's great. Yeah.
It is so wonderful.
Yeah,
so you can explain to the listeners, because they might not know the difference between standard and Latin and all the dances that fall into these categories. Can you just list off the Latin dances so they know what we're really talking about, like the cha-cha, the paso doble is wonderful. Please list them.
Okay, the 5 Latin dances in competition that are danced nowadays are rumba, samba, cha-cha, paso doble, and jive. There are 5 dances that compose the Latin American division. Although jive is really not a Latin dance, it was just lumped in there for some reason historically and stayed there. So those are the dances. The ballroom dances are foxtrot, waltz, tango, Viennese waltz, and quick step.
Thank you. Now people kind of can, identify what we're talking about. So what was your favorite Latin dance?
Oh, boy. I think all of them in their own special way are unique and interesting. I can't pick a favorite. The rumba is a very sensuous, romantic dance, and the melodies are so beautiful. Rumba is great. We
did that together in Hawaii. Remember, Ron?
Oh yeah, we did that. Yes. And the other dances are faster. The paso doble is a spirited Spanish flavor dance that is very passionate. And then, of course, there's the cha-cha, which is everybody's favorite, really, and the samba. The tremendous rhythm of the samba is everybody loves samba music. So
they're also wonderful. I love them. They're also wonderful.
What dance would you recommend for somebody that's depressed, suffering from depression?
Would I recommend for somebody to what? Excuse me?
What would be a good style of dance for somebody that is suffering depression?
Oh, yeah. I would say dancing does this for you. When you're thinking about your steps, your partner, and the music, your mind is so occupied that you don't have time to think of daily trials and tribulations, sadnesses and stuff. It lifts you, it puts you into a different plane of existence. So pretty much dancing elevates you to a place where your mind and your body does not have space for thinking about your bills, thinking about your family troubles. For a few moments, at least, it disappears. So therefore,
wonderful
it's very
point.
Mentally healthy, and it's always been thought of as being healthy exercise for people in all respects. I mean, recently there was a veteran returned back from several tours of Afghanistan. He had PTSD. He was wounded in action. He considered suicide. His health was deteriorating, and his wife coaxed him into a dance studio. He didn't want to go. He ended up going, and it changed his life. And it was a little news clip. I'll send it to you later, Barbara, a news clip about this one vet here in Phoenix whose life changed because of ballroom dancing.
Okay. We will definitely post that on our group page on Facebook. That would be wonderful. If we could just inspire people, and Johnny, thank you for asking that question, Johnny. If we could inspire you and others to take up dancing, it does change your life. I think this was the most fantastic time in my life when I did that competitively. So,
right.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
You're hitting on some really important points for a person with uplifting them in their spiritual quest and just with the music. And you are so right. You know, when you're training and when you're with your instructor, you empty your mind. It is a form of meditation somewhat because you empty your mind of all of that just stuff. And you just fill it up. Yes, with good things.
That's true, Barbara. And on that same vein, there are some professionals that take dance or study ballroom dancing, doctors, lawyers, engineers of all types, all walks of life, and they also exercise, okay? But they always tell me, well, on the treadmill, I can still think of my problems. On the treadmill, I can still think of my bills and the other issues in my life that are bothersome. But when I dance, I can't do that. There's no space.
Right.
It's wonderful to hear that.
It's such a wonderful, good point. That is definitely a good point. Okay, so I would like to know, you got to the top, and that was 7. You guys, this is amazing. No small feat. 7 years undefeated, United States dance champion. But isn't it great to be on the top? I mean, some people would say, "Oh, that's too much pressure," or "Oh, no, it's not. It must be wonderful to be on the top and on the top over and over and over again." But who was your close second? Did you have a close second? Who was your rival?
Well, there were different rivals. I mean, I started out second place with the former United States champion. They were retiring, so we were third place. So there was a couple in second place that were in line to win the U.S. championship. And in the U.S. championship that took place, they didn't win. We won, and they were very, very
Yay!
And so it was not so. It was sad for them, but great for us. And so then it continued with our success. But there were different couples at different times. I mean, there was Corky Ballas and Shirley, his wife Shirley. There was Chris and Denise Morris, and then overseas there were the Germans and the Japanese and the English couples.
Wow. Okay, so the person who say you were third, and then you did the competition and you got first. So obviously they were thinking, oh, you guys are going to get second and they're going to get first, but you took first. Now those people will go down in history as not ever winning this first place, and that could affect their whole entire livelihood, right? I mean, you make more money like that, right? Oh wow.
Well, actually, it did, because soon after that, I don't remember exactly the time period, but they did break up. I mean, it was too much for them to handle.
It is. Wow,
yeah.
Ron.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was
well, you know what? Thank goodness. It is. It's hard because they had to hear it every time. They probably had their own dance studio, and people would come in and say, "Oh, darn, that it's all day long." Oh, shoot. Oh, that was too bad. I mean, it was like one after the other negative comment as they probably had to listen to all day long. Hey, but it's not your fault. You were better.
No, we were just doing what we love to do, and we trained really hard, and it just ended up being that way.
That's
one of those things in life.
And you know what? That hits my other question. I know it's fair, but other people, is it really fair? I mean, you're a judge. You're a major judge. This is what you do. You go from competition to competition to competition. I don't know how many per month, but many. And you judge everything, the beginners, the older, the young, the children, the top of the top. There you are. Is it really fair, Ron?
Well, you get right down to the point. Yes, in competitions, for those that don't know, there's a panel of judges judging at any particular time. It could be as little as 3, but it could be as many as 15 or more judges. So we have a variety of opinions being expressed there in their determining of who's first, second, third, and fourth. Therefore, if one judge is politically motivated, their they're not going to have that much impact. So it's a consensus. It's a consensus among the panel of judges, and therefore the high and the low are more or less neutralized by the majority. So that's just the way it is, for better or worse. That's the system.
Good. It's the system, and I feel good about the system. I mean, I do, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, there are some that are motivated in a bad way. They teach a particular couple, therefore they favor those couples with their markings. Maybe they dislike a couple. Maybe a couple that they've trained in the past has dropped them, and so they want to take revenge on that. There's a little bit of that in there. We call it the politics, but it's but generally speaking, it doesn't determine the end result.
Right. I mean, you all are very good people, and people are hiring you as a self-employed person individually to their different competitions. So they're not going to keep hiring somebody who isn't doing the fair, right, good, principally good thing, right?
I think so. I think you're right there. Yeah, I think after a while you recognize the ones who are motivated in the wrong direction. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, good, because I would like to hear that it's fair because, I did win a lot, and, I'd like to say, hey, it was...
Oh, yes.
Right.
Well, yeah, when you competed with Igor Suvorov, you competed in the ballroom division, and that's two couples in dance frame the whole time. The movement, it can't lie. You're either moving together as a couple in a beautiful way to the music, or you're not. I mean, so in that particular style, it's easy to pick the winners. In the Latin style, when the man and the woman are separate, an outstanding woman can more or less take the attention. You know what I mean? So it can be imbalanced. So I think the division you competed again, it's the winner, the right person wins.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. That was interesting. That's interesting. I never was explained that before. And I saw in one of your social media posts that you posted, it was the very famous dancer from the movie, Fred Astaire. And you said when you get to the top and you're at the top of the top of the top, you can make many mistakes because at that point it just becomes your style. Is this true?
Oh, you remember that post? Yeah, I thought that was very, very interesting and very clever that Fred Astaire said that. And in a way, it's true. When you're the champion, when you're at the top and everybody admires you, you can set the trend. Yes, that's true.
I love that. Okay, so you know how any sport evolves. Every sport does. Ice skating, then people are doing, it was fantastic to do like one loop. They would do like a triple loop and do like it just grows. Have you seen a lot of this change in the ballroom world?
Yeah, it changes. It changes with the times a little bit. I mean, the television program Dancing with the Stars has affected the way dancing is this more common in people's minds. Although the type of Dancing with the Stars is very, very theatrical and showy. It's not a true measure of a consistency of participating in the sport. I mean, they learn a routine and boom, 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 they do it, and then that's it. Whereas people who treat it as a hobby, it's a week after week, month after month, year after year thing that, it's a continuing education. So. Oh yeah. So it's different.
No, I was going to that for a while and watching that with Igor, and he just couldn't do it anymore. He's like, I can't watch this anymore because it isn't what the competition stands for, really, where you have to get that technique down. That's the most important, because no way if I went into a studio and for competition reasons to learn, would I be able to tell my teacher, hey, teach me the routine. I don't want to like pound my feet down. It hurts, or I don't want to put the work in because it's too hard. Just teach me the routine. No, that doesn't fly. But it has to for the television. So it's not really what people think. It's not the real thing. I'm glad you touched upon that, Ron.
Yes, that's right. It's not people who work hard at their dancing over a period of time and take it on as a hobby and get more serious about it, they look at that, they look at it and they'll glance at it. But a lot of dancers who don't watch Dancing with the Stars, some do. Some are, fascinated by the result and the placings and all that, but a lot of them don't even watch it.
Mhm. I know. Well, I'm happy for the people on there, and we all know them, and I'm happy that they were able to get a career teaching and doing the show. And I think that's wonderful for them. So, I mean, I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying it's it's not the real thing.
No, it's a very exciting Hollywood production. The music and the production of it is pretty high energy. You get a live audience. You get some beautiful people there and some interesting people who are previous actors, entertainers, and sports figures. So altogether it's a great package. It's been on for many years.
Very entertaining.
Yes.
Ron,
yes.
I want to ask you, though, when you were at the top, because I find this very fascinating, because there's not a lot of people that you can talk to in the whole world that were undefeated champions 7 times with that kind of competition. What did it feel like walking around when you were on top like that? Were you treated differently? Was there a lot of jealousy? What was going on at that time?
As I said before, this is a very positive business in many respects. And you get a lot of credit for what you've done, and you get a certain amount of respect by your colleagues and students who look up to you and want to learn from you. So I would say that I experienced mostly good things. I mean, there were sure people who had jealousies, and some people who were, I'm sure that was there, but it was in the shadows. It was kept in the shadows, to say it that way.
Okay, that's nice. You know what I loved about dancing, I'm wondering if you really loved this. You probably did. I love that you could be a very strong athlete, but then you had the glamorous side too, where you could, the women especially, we get to wear the beautiful dresses and the glam makeup and hair. I mean, it's so glamorous.
Oh my
and
God.
Then you are sweating. I mean, it's dripping off of you. You got the best of both worlds, right?
Absolutely. It's so true. And
now, I have a question. I have another question. It must be hard though, because I think Barb has told me this before. When you're dancing competitively, is it harder to enjoy it if you're dancing competitively?
You brought up a good point. There's the social dance aspect of ballroom dancing where it's totally fun. No pressure. You're out at a nightclub, or you're dancing with your friends, you're at a country club or whatever, wedding, and it's totally fun. No one's looking at you. You're not being judged. You're not being evaluated. Yes, there is a certain amount of pressure in competition dancing, and it is more serious. So you can tell that the higher training is necessary, more commitment is necessary, and that there's more pressure. Yeah, definitely two different ways. Yeah.
But I
sure.
liked the pressure. I thought it was the true definition of living is when you have that adrenaline pumping through your blood and it just makes you so sharp. And it's like there's nothing like adrenaline can either kill you, ruin you, or it can like totally make you really great. And I think I was able to use it to make me really great because I lived for that. Didn't you live for that adrenaline rush that you couldn't get any other way?
Yes. It was a definite motivator. I love the competition.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
But you know what? On the other note, you still do a lot of dance for fun, and I was going to ask you about that because, you've got a very busy schedule, and you're traveling so much with judging, so many competitions. People want you at their competitions. So what do you do for fun? You like to go to the country places, right, to dance? More dancing.
That's more dancing. Yeah, I like reading a lot. That's good. I like listening to music. I go camping. I do that by myself, and sometimes I used to do it with my sons. But more recently, it's myself. I can get away, get to nature, do a little bit of hiking, not serious stuff, but enough to appreciate nature. I like movies a lot. I try to go to concerts whenever I can. As we went to that one, Kelly Rochelle in San Diego, famous Hawaiian artist. Yeah, beautiful. I love musicals, Broadway musicals. Whenever I can, I'll go to a musical. So it's there's a variety of things out there to do.
I know what else you do, Ron. I know what else you do. You play the bongos really well.
Oh yeah, I have a set of conga drums, and I play those sometimes just for fun. In my competition in Hawaii, when I'm not, attending to my responsibilities as an organizer, I'll play percussion. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh,
by the way, at your competitions you just mentioned, could you tell us what your competitions are so we can watch out for that? And I love going to ballroom competitions. You don't have to be a competitor to enjoy these, do you?
No.
We dress up. We wear long evening gowns. It's absolutely a fabulous experience. Tell us.
Absolutely, that's true. I mean, my competitions are Las Vegas Light, which is in May 16th in Las Vegas at Harrah's, and then my other competition is in Hawaii at a beautiful resort called the Kahala Resort, which is down the coast from Honolulu, so it's totally separate and quiet and beautiful. And so that's a getaway, really. But then we have the ballroom, and the ballroom is active and fun, but people can also experience Hawaii. So
that's wonderful. Do you do this because you love to organize something and you love Hawaii, or is it more of a moneymaker or a combination?
I think mostly because of I like organizing. I like putting on the dancing for people. The money is also good if it comes in. Yeah, definitely, because you need to make money to pay the bills in life, and that is part of it for sure. So you try to become a good business in the process.
Well, okay. What are the dates on the Hawaiian competition?
Hawaii is first weekend of February.
Ooh.
So it's a Friday and Saturday, the first weekend of February. I don't know what days those are. I think it's second and third or something.
Okay, so I'm sure there's a lot of people who come there and then just stay a little longer for a wonderful vacation,
True.
Don't they?
Exactly. Oh yes. And I'll touch on something that you mentioned earlier about getting dressed up and being glamorous. A lot of ladies, let's say middle-aged or older, get into ballroom dancing, and they become very aware of their bodies and their health and their fitness and how they appear. So it's so good for them. You can tell they're poised. Yeah. They work on their posture. They work on how they looked, and it's such a great thing for people.
It really is. It's so wonderful, and I still have some wonderful friends that I met throughout the years, and I know firsthand how it changed their lives for the better, and it really is a very fantastic thing to be a part of. Oh, I wanted to ask you, when you see a child or you're teaching a child dancer, can you tell, they're going to be a star, they're going to be really good, and if so, by what age can you tell that? Because I did that once. I went down and I saw Julianne Hough when she was about 10 years old compete, and I looked at Igor, and we both looked at each other, and we're like, she's going to be a star, and she is.
Right. Yes, you can tell. I mean, certain kids are more natural. They're more outgoing, and as they are in sports. I mean, there's some kids that are just naturally more gifted athletically, and that's true in dance as well. I mean, some can be champions even though they aren't the most gifted and they aren't the best because they train hard, they work harder. So good work, hard work makes up for talent in a lot of different instances. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's okay. I was going to ask you if you have any room in your schedule. How does somebody get a hold of Ron Montez for coaching or teaching? Do you have any room for anybody new?
Oh, yes. I always explore new possibilities. I teach different people, travel to different places. I'm available on Facebook. Easily people can message me on Facebook.
Okay.
You know, I have a place, Ron Montez. That's the easiest way.
Okay. Well, I splashed you all across social media. Everybody probably has seen by now that picture of you like jumping and leaping. Like it looks like you're like flying in the air. I love that photo.
Yeah, you put together some good stuff. I'll tell you. You're a good person to know.
Thank you so much. Well, I also wondered, since you have a schedule, I know personally how many competitions there are all around the country and the world. Do you ever get kind of a burnout feeling, not maybe of the dancing and the people, they're wonderful, but like the flying and the scheduling and do you ever get a little bit burned out, or do you just love what you do, every part of it?
Yes. Yes, sometimes I do get burned out, but it's mostly because of being tired. I have long days, and then I maybe put too much together at one thing at one time, and that's my fault because I'm in charge of my calendar. So teaching is very rewarding and fulfilling, and I love doing it. But sometimes I'll pack too much in, and then I'll get tired, and then sometimes real early morning flights and stuff like that. So you have to kind of pace it. And then you'll be fine. And I'm not as young as I was before, so the rest kind of helps. We look forward to it.
Oh, that's a good point. So then you just basically pace yourself and make sure you do that. But how much longer do you think that you will do the competition circuit? And is there anything that you might drop a little bit and just maybe stick with your competitions, or are you just plugging away?
I pretty much what you just last said. Keep plugging away. As long as I'm able to do it, as long as opportunities are there, and I kind of think of in a way you make your own opportunities anyway. So yes, I will continue going at it pretty strongly for years to come.
Well, I think that most people will be glad to hear that because you're a very well sought after person, and I know that you were on PBS, and you were basically the first commentator for anything ballroom. And when you were chosen and you worked with many celebrities on that show, opening up the world to ballroom, who maybe some people have never even seen ballroom dancing, and that was a big deal for you. Did your life change after that?
That was the first really popular ballroom dance program on television. Yes, that was the predecessor of all of them. And, it was fun associating with these co-hosts. I mean, one of my favorites were Rita Moreno. Another favorite was Juliet Prowse. I mean, they were great people in their own right. And they didn't know much about ballroom dancing, but they knew about dance. So their contributions and conversationally were always really interesting. And, and off camera, you got to hear about them and their private lives and personal likes and dislikes. I mean, I remember Juliet Prowse telling me about Frank Sinatra and telling me about Elvis, stuff like that you don't find out any other way.
Well, that is wonderful. And were you like the first choice, or was it between you and somebody else?
I was chosen by the producer because she knew me of my reputation. So her name is Aida Moreno. She's out of WGBH Boston. So she chose me and coached me and worked with me on that show. And so we had a good relationship. She was a strong boss, so for sure.
Well, that's good. And weren't you doing some of your own projects? Are you writing a book? Anything like that?
Yes, I've written a book. I've had someone help me with it. I contributed, and they put it together. I have a book out. It's available on Amazon, or it's available at ronmontez.com.
Oh, wow, Ron. I did not know that. Okay, so everybody go to ronmontez.com or Amazon and get your book. I haven't even read this book. What is it called?
Well, it's called, let me see. I have one right here.
Funny. You're so funny. Oh, wow.
It's called Montez, A Story of Life, Love, and Passion.
It is a long title.
That's why I hesitated. I had to go grab a hold of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Well, that is wonderful. And so, another thing that I've always wondered, since I saw that leaping across the stadium photo of you, where I couldn't even see your partner for miles away, were you known for any? Were you known for any like special move, like the Ron Montez dance move or dance leap?
Oh boy, that's hard to say. I can't pinpoint anything particular. I mean, people kind of think of me more as a Latin American dancer than a ballroom dancer, but I still love ballroom as much. So, because that's just my last partner was purely Latin. So therefore, that's where I'm. The memory is stronger, in most people's minds.
So you really formed a lot of wonderful friendships over these years. This has just been a great career life for you. And you see these people all the time. It's not like, oh, you do something with them and then you never see them again. I mean, they're just like you. They just stick with it. They dance. They have a wonderful body of work with their dancing and their competitive dancing, and then they start judging. Isn't this what most of them do? And then you get to see your friends almost every weekend in different places of the country.
Yeah, we keep in touch. It's a small world, relatively speaking. And so, yeah, we have a lot of friends, a lot of colleagues. I mean, very few close friends, but a lot of acquaintances, put it that way. Yes.
But you have a couple of really close friends, and are they in the ballroom world? I mean, not just by ballroom style, but the ballroom dance community.
Yes, yeah. Some of my good friends, close friends, are ballroom dancers. True. Yeah, very true.
Well, that's a wonderful life. You've created a wonderful life for yourself.
Well, I've been very fortunate. I love what I'm doing. I always have, and people have been good to me. I've worked hard, and so I've achieved success through hard work and being more or less persistent. I attribute it to that.
But do you really persist? Like, for example, when the producers of So You Think You Can Dance need a choreographer, were you persisting on that, or how did they get a hold of you for that? Word of mouth?
They just contacted me out of the blue, and they interviewed me, and then they asked me to be part of the show, and then I did it a few times. So it was earlier in the seasons of the show, and I enjoyed it very much. Yeah.
Oh, well, I would love to see what you choreographed. I don't want to put you on the spot and ask you exactly what episode, though.
Well, no, I wouldn't even remember that. But, it was very challenging because some of these people that you were asked to choreograph for were not ballroom dancers. They were ballet, jazz, hip-hop, various styles of dance that they did not know ballroom. So teaching them a Latin routine or a ballroom routine was a big challenge because you had to be very, very selective on what you chose because some things did not look good on them and others did.
Because of that technique, and if they don't have that technique and they're such a highly regarded dancer in their own style, their own field, that they come into, but that's what that show's all about, though. They've got a show, so you have to be very careful to not throw them something that that's not looking good at all with that knee straight or bent or vice versa. It's like, wow, people don't think about this.
Yeah, that was the thing about it that was challenging. Is great dancers in their own right, but not necessarily ballroom. So it took some thought for sure.
Right. I remember when there was this one ballet dancer that was about to compete against me in the standard ballroom, and she was flitting around and kind of showing up on the side, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way you're going to beat me. No way with that. The flying up. I mean, there was no grounding. Oh my gosh. But she just had that on her face, like, ha ha ha, look at, I'm going to beat you. I'm a ballerina. Heck no. And she did not.
Right. Good. Glad to hear that.
Same kind of thing. She didn't beat me. Same kind of thing. Yeah, I'm sure if I went to her ballet recital or competition, I would probably not beat her. But it's so different. Yeah. And I think that a lot of people don't realize a dancer isn't just a dancer. And this is why I do love that show, So You Think You Can Dance, because it takes all the different styles and then they throw that. And they throw at the ballroom dancers and the Latin dancers, they throw the jazz onto them. And hopefully they'll have some background to be able to keep up with that.
Yes, true. Yeah.
Ooh, I love this show. See, this is the true kind of show that I get into. The real dancing, the real technical, not just the showy, it's okay, the Dancing with the Stars, because that's what it's called, Dancing with the Stars. I mean, some of the stars never have danced, and we hope that they haven't because that's part of the charm and the fun to watch. So, it's all really fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all good. It all contributes to dancing, the dancing mosaic or the dancing collage, however you look at it. Some of it being theatrical in nature for entertainment purposes, like you mentioned. Others being for hobby. Others for competitors, and others for social dancing alone. Covers everything.
It really does. Okay. Well, lastly, I wanted to ask you about, since we're a very spiritual, positive-based show, which you've touched upon quite a lot actually tonight, but what do you do besides camping? Do you meditate? You mentioned meditation. Do you meditate? Do you do exercises like that just in case you get stressed out or too tired or overwhelmed or anything? Could you give a little bit of an insight of what Ron Montez does to stay balanced and calm with his inner self?
I gain my inspiration through reading, and then I gain my peace in my life and calmness through listening to a certain type of music, calming. Some of it classical, some of it not classical. So I still use music as a motivator. I use educationally reading, and I use music to meditate. So even if I'm camping and I'm all by myself, sometimes I'll have music in the background. Peaceful music, not kind of highly charged music in that particular environment.
Wow, and you did say that a lot, and that really does work because you're a very calm individual. You are balanced. You're very responsible and highly regarded and well respected. So doing something right, Ron.
Thank you, Barbara.
I hope all of our friends listen to this. They're going to get a kick out of it. And I hope that I asked some questions that maybe other people haven't asked that shed a little more light on you and what makes you tick.
Thank you. Yes, you asked some very good questions that kind of touched on a bit of everything. So that was great. Yeah. Enjoyed participating.
Wonderful. Well,
thank you.
Okay, but what about Johnny and Kelly? I mean, they've been kind of quiet all this whole time. Do you have any questions at all?
Hi there.
Well, Johnny asked a couple of really good ones as far as dancing in depression, dancing in your mental state.
You there, Kelly?
So, those are good questions. Very good.
We got to get Kelly dancing. Did you know Kelly lives all the way in Michigan, so it's not a lot I can do for her. But if I lived closer to her, I would get her on the dance floor.
Yeah, I just came from.
Thank you.
The last couple of days I was in Minneapolis, so it was cold. So I was glad to get back to Arizona.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's dancing up there in Michigan too.
It's so hard to deal with that cold, and she does deal with that cold. And I mean, it's reaching the 90s again over here, which is kind of crazy. But wow, I know that one competition, Ron, over there, and wow, so you were just there. I really would like you to meet Kelly when you go back there next year and teach her a few things.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Sure.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
She has a boyfriend named Brian that he could come and they could both take a lesson.
Why not? Just give it a try.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. You would be willing to do that? I want to get that for her for a gift.
How about that?
Aw, thank you. That would be so fun. Yeah, we'd love that.
Okay, good. Wow. Okay, good. And you know what? Maybe we'll all be in Vegas for Ron's competition because we interviewed this top Vegas host who deals with like the billionaires and sends jets for them and all that. And he's going to do that for me, Johnny, and Kelly. He's going to send it, if they can get to LA, he's sending the jet. He's going to pick us up. He said, I'm going to show you Vegas like you've never seen Vegas before. I go,
wow.
Do you know who you're talking to? I'm like, I've seen Vegas. And right? And he goes, I know who I'm talking to, and I'm going to show it to you better than you've ever seen it. And so he offered that to us because we had him on the show.
Oh, nice. That's so much fun.
Yeah. Maybe we could plan that out during the Las Vegas Light competition.
Yeah.
Of yours.
Good idea. Good idea.
Wow.
I'd love to have
that'd be
you there.
Wonderful. Okay. That'd be wonderful. And then do you have a special dinner at the end? I love when they do the special events.
We have a simple buffet dinner on the Friday night, but we have a good show. We have a professional show that evening.
Good show and a great after party, right?
Yeah. Let's see. We have a party on that Friday night. Yes, definitely.
And we can dance the night away.
Oh yeah. Why not?
Wow.
Yeah. But you have to dance with a partner though. It's not like people go out and freestyle at these things, right? You have to wear your dance shoes and you have to. And remember Ron, I was notorious for forgetting my dance shoes. And then you have to dance, partner dancing and kind of do it that way. So it'll be a new experience for all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it. We'll make sure you have a good time.
Very nice. Thank you.
Sounds good.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I think that how perfect was this interview and enlightening. And we are so very thankful that you took the time to come over and talk to us at Life, Laughter, Happiness, Ron.
Well, it was my pleasure, and your questions were stimulating and made me think and made me reminisce a little bit, and got to talk about dancing, which I love. So thank you as well.
Well,
thanks,
congratulations, too, on your new competition, Las Vegas Lights. If you all want to hire Ron for choreography or judging or professional coaching, then you can find him at ronmontez.com or on his Facebook under Ron Montez. How simple is that?
That's right.
And
That's right.
yes, and everybody, momentarily you will be able to hear this show on our YouTube channel, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Yes. And now you will have that show forever, Ron.
Okay.
Don't forget about the shout-out, Barbara.
Yes, please don't forget to follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you too, Ron, will you subscribe to our YouTube channel?
Okay, I'll go right into it then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, you already have the link to your own show, so that's going to be easy. And if you would like to just say hi to us at Life, Laughter, Happiness, we'd love to hear from you. We have our website, lifelaughterhappiness.com, and just shoot us a note, put your name in and your email address, and we would love to hear from you. So thank you all for listening, and we wish you a wonderful good night, and we inspire you to get your dance shoes on and get into that local studio of yours. Right, Ron?
Absolutely. What great advice.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, Ron Montez.
Don't mention it. I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.